welcome back to Mariana Mass Books. My name is Mariana and welcome to a Tarot Tuesday. In my mind, I want to be more organized with my channel this year, and I think ever since I started doing tarot videos, I have been saying that I want to film tarot or upload tarot videos on Tuesdays and book videos on Sundays so that there is no confusion, but I never do that. So in my mind this year I actually want to do this. I'm not planning on uploading every Tuesday, but the idea is that every time that I do a tarot video I will upload it on Tuesday. Now sometimes I might do a tag Tuesday, which is a booktube thing, but I usually do my tags for booktube on Sundays as well. Anyway, you will see. It will be clearly marked when it's a tarot video, and the thumbnail and everything. I don't know why I am explaining this. Today's video is going to be a new deck highlight. Also, sorry about the lighting and sorry about the noise. This is not the best time, day, whatever, to film, but this is the time I have, so this is what I'm doing. So moving on, today I'm going to do a new deck highlight because I got a lot of new decks last year and I'm a bit overwhelmed to film like an entire haul or just every single new deck that I got last year. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the best of the new decks. So some of these decks I haven't used. It's not the best of in terms of the whole year. It's like a highlight, superlatives for the new decks that arrived last year. Some of them are from the middle of the year, some of them are from this last Christmas, so it's a bit of everything, but except for two, which I'm going to start with because they are my two exceptions, everything else are new decks that came into my collection in 2024. 2024 was a year of classic cartomancy for me, and with that I mean classic tarot, so Marseille, Italian, historic tarot in general, but then also at the end of the year I started really getting into divination and other cartomatic systems like Lenormand, like playing cards, and even Keeper, but I didn't buy a Keeper deck for last year. I have some this year, but that, it doesn't fit with the 2024 because I didn't receive them in 2024 anyway. So cartomantic system. So with that in mind, I want to start with the two exceptions, which are the two decks that I bought at the end of 2023 but that I didn't use in 2023. So I didn't receive them in 2024, but I did use them for the first time in 2024, and I want to show them because they are very representative of my year, in that I got into other cartomantic systems other than tarot. And so the first I'm going to show you is the Lenormand, which is the Silson Lenormand by Malpertuis, I think. So I bought this one before I even started learning Lenormand. I bought it simply because I thought it was gorgeous. As you may or may not know, depending on if you have seen my channel before, I love medieval art, medieval aesthetic, old-timey aesthetic in general. And I feel like this one really matches my vibe. And so I bought it because of that. I didn't use it in 2023 because I hadn't started learning Lenormand, and I actually started using it until the end of 2024 when I started using Lenormand. And the big surprise is that I am going to continue learning Lenormand, and so I don't know for sure yet, but I have the inkling that I might like it even more than tarot. And I don't know, like, it's a bold statement, maybe not. I will continue to learn it, and I will keep you posted. But yeah, so this one is the Silson Lenormand. I have bought other Lenormand decks, but this one was the one that I used for the majority of the year, and actually I feel like it's the only one that I have used, because the new ones that I got arrived until either very much at the end of December or in January, I don't remember, so they're very new and I haven't used them. And I do want to read Caitlin Matthews' Lenormand book, but so this one is the one that I have been using, and it's actually not like a traditional Lenormand in terms of the images, but I can read it pretty well regardless. And I really love it, and I think it's because it speaks to me that I can read it pretty well. So yeah, this one definitely a highlight, even if I didn't buy it in 2024. I started using it in 2024. So the next one that I started using in 2024, but I bought in 2023, is the Medieval Animal Playing Cards by HanaBerggren at Etsy. And this is just a playing card set with a medieval aesthetic, and the cards are medieval animals, and that is why it's the medieval animals playing cards. I love it because the animals are redrawn from actual, medieval manuscripts. You have some famous animals like the cat with the cart, and I like it because it's just regular pips, which is the way I like reading playing cards. I have just started learning playing cards, and as with tarot, I don't do meanings, so I don't think four of clubs means something. I read combinations of cards in a classic cartomantic way according to the system that my teachers use. And so even though there are some very beautiful playing card decks out there, a lot of them don't have just the pips, and that's what I like. And I don't have many, but I have a few, and this one is definitely my favorite, and this one is the one that I have used the most. The next one I'm going to do is the best or favorite, highlights, and the best U.S. mass market deck. And the reason why I say US is because I also have a category for a non-US mass market deck. And this one is not going to fit on screen, but I don't care. I am not readjusting the camera. And that is the Pierpont Morgan Visconti Sforza facsimile. As you may or may not know, the Visconti Sforza is my favorite tarot ever. I have several versions of the Visconti Sforza, and I do read with it, and I do read with them. I do read with this one. I've heard a lot of people say that they only use it as for study or collection purposes. I love that it has the portraits of the Sforza, Bianca Maria Visconti and Francesco Sforza. I love it, and I think I'm going to hang them in my room. I'm not going to lie. Or use them as significators. I remember now, I can't decide, which is why they are still in here. And I feel like everyone knows the Visconti Sforza, and it's like really big, and I don't want to make a mess, but I feel like everyone knows that these are the pips, these are the majors, and this is a very big deck, and I love it. This year I developed a love for either giant decks or mini decks. I don't know, there's something about giant decks and mini decks that is just really cool. I don't know if you follow my booktube content, but I do this challenge called Historathon, and I kind of want to read about the history of the Viscontis for Historathon. I don't know if I'm going to do it, but like I would like to. So, Pierpont, Morgan, Visconti, Sforza. The next one I'm going to do is the best non-U.S. mass market. I think it's mass market. I think this is like a mass-produced company, so I think it's mass market, but it's not like one of the big brands, and I didn't buy it on Amazon, but I think it counts as mass market. And this is the from del Negro y Trionfi del Regno di Sicilia, which is the nerdiest, coolest, most Mariana deck I own. So this one is based on a very specific time period in Italian history. The creator is Italian, and the deck is all about that specific time period in Italian history. I mean, the name of the deck is the Triumph of the Kingdom of Sicilia, and I don't know anything about that time period, but I just think it's the coolest that you take a time period and it's the coolest, nerdiest thing to like do research and do a tarot deck based on that time period. This one I think is, in terms of the color palette, I do think it's the most me color palette in my collection. The majors have this metallic quality to them that I don't think the camera is going to get, because it's not a regular metallic. I don't know what it is. I have never ever seen that finish in my life, and I am obsessed with it because it's kind of like the metallic is within the lamination, and so it feels like it's inside the card. I don't know, it's super weird and I love it. But look at the colors, look at the color palette. These ones, the deep burgundy and the deep blue, and you have like the golds and the browns. Brown is my favorite color, if you didn't know. And you have like, yeah, the deep blues. I love this deck. This is honestly so beautiful. I don't know how I'm going to read with this deck, because it does its own thing. It's not RWS, it's not Marseille, it's I don't know what it is, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I don't care, because this is, it's me in a deck. If you want to, like, if I were to introduce myself, I would show this deck. This is my vibe, this is my jam. Medieval, historical, dark, you know, knights, kings, ladies, dragons. Yes, it's me in a deck. And for that, this has to be one of the highlights of the 2024 purchases. I hadn't been showing you the backs. These are the backs. And to finish with the mass markets, I have another Italian mass market deck, and this is my favorite mini. As I told you, I developed an obsession with mini decks last year, and I have so many, or a lot of them, and this is my favorite of the purchases, of the mini purchases, and it was the biggest surprise, and I'm obsessed, and I am so happy I have it. And it is the mini Visconti Sforza by it literally doesn't say, it has the logo, I think it's del Vecchio, something like that. But the reason why this one is my favorite is because, I mean, I think we've all seen the mini Visconti Sforza Los Carabeo decks, but this one is a mini version of the big Mary Packard kit. It's called Golden Tarot, if you have seen it. It's also mass market, published in the U.S. And this one is like a mini version of that one with the borders and the colors. It's literally a mini version of that one. And I'm obsessed. I didn't know this existed. Here are the minors. Okay, the thing about minis is that they are harder to handle on camera. So these are the minors, and again with the borders and everything, I did not know this deck existed, and I am obsessed. The bags, see, the same bags of the Mary Packard kit. So this is my favorite mini from last year. Now let's do my favorite Kickstarter, and without a doubt, it is the Tarocchi Minchiate di Bomarzo by Amparo Millán, I want to say. This is her website, tarotminchiate.com. She is an expert in Minchiate, and this one is definitely my favorite Kickstarter. This is what I call a historical fiction deck. And what I mean by that is that it is not a classic with a modern twist. It is not a clone. It is not a restoration. It is a deck that has deep research and deep knowledge of the original source, and then does its own thing. So it is kind of a modern twist. It is kind of a reinterpretation, but not really. But I think what makes it a difference from just like a twist or something is the deep research and the deep knowledge of the source, of the original source. I feel like a lot of the clones and a lot of the reinterpretations, as beautiful as they are, this is my favorite card in the Minchiate. The start with the star. The difference with regular just reinterpretations, I do think, is the research and the knowledge of the original source. Oh yeah, I was saying, like, some clones and some reinterpretations, as beautiful as they are, I feel like they are reinterpretations of the reinterpretation of the reinterpretation, right? It's like the author doing their own thing based on the countless of decks that exist, instead of going directly to the original source and then doing their thing based on that. And I think this is a historical fiction deck. I think Ian Comsty at Scotty Press, he does historical fiction decks. Yeah, so this definitely is my favorite, and it also kickstarted an obsession with Minchiate, which is also a highlight in its own right. So just for that, it would be a highlight. But I do think it's I do think this would be, if I were to do a top 3 decks from last year, I think this one would be one. Oh, and these are the backs, and it has blue, like deep blue edges. The next one I'm going to show you is the one that lived up to the hype. This is a historical tarot by a creator that everyone loves, by a restorer, I guess, that everyone loves. And I had never bought one because it's not as easily available, I guess, and also because he has many ones to choose from, and I hadn't decided which one I wanted. And after a while I had started thinking that maybe I wasn't going to super love it. I've had it happen in the past where certain creators or decks that people really hype up, when they arrive, I am disappointed because I imagined something different, and the quality or the cardstock or the images or something doesn't live up to my expectations. As a graphic designer, I am a very I can be a paper snob, I can be a printing snob, I can be a quality snob, and so sometimes I feel like there are certain decks that are praised that when they get here they don't match my standards, my snobby graphic designer standards. And this one, this creator, I was expecting that maybe that was going to be the case, but it wasn't. It totally lived up to the hype, to the point where when I received it I was like, oh no, am I going to want more decks from this creator? As you know, or you don't know, I'm not sure if I've told you here, but this year I have a low buy goal, so I don't want to be buying a lot of decks. So I am planning to enjoy this one a lot. But when it arrived, I was like, oh no, this is dangerous, because it really lived up to the hype and it's everything everyone says. And that one is the Francois Gassman by Yves Renaud. Yves Renaud has many decks, and this is the one I chose. So I'm not saying that everyone hypes up this particular deck, though a lot of people do love it. I'm saying that they hype the creator, and this is the one that I chose because of the line work, because of the colors, and because I don't have any, or didn't have before this one, any Swiss style decks. So I thought, okay, this is going to be the one, and I am so glad that I chose this one. So the images are absolutely amazing. Like, this might be my new favorite Marseille style deck. This is a Swiss style Marseille. I'm just going to call it that. The printing, the quality, everything is fantastic. I don't super love the cardstock, but I also don't hate it. The only thing I don't super love are the bags. These blue bags that everyone loves. I'm not crazy about them, but they also don't bother me. But everything else is just, I can't explain to you the level of joy it brings me to see something so amazing. The faces, the line work, it totally lives up to the hype. I love this wheel, it's so funny, and also it makes me so happy to finally have a Swiss style devil in my collection. The Swiss devils are the best. Look at this. And I'm so happy to finally have one in my collection. So this one is the Francois Gassman by Yves Renaud. And yeah, I'm so happy I bought this. It totally lives up to the hype. I would like to have more by this creator, but I am not buying a lot of decks this year. And this, I have decided that if I have this is going to be the Yves Renaud that I love, you know. So yeah, I'm super happy to have it. The next one is the most adorable historical tarot, and that is without a doubt the Tarocco Napoleonico by, I want to say, Gumpenberg. I mean, he was the original engraver who did this in the 1800s, but it is currently published by Il Meneghello. And this one is just adorable. Look at the fool. and just in general all of the characters are absolutely adorable. There is no other word for it, they just are adorable. I love it so much. Look at the puppets, the empress. It's super adorable. Obviously the cardstock is beautiful because it's Il Meneghello. Look at the lovers and tell me if this is not just adorable. It has a really great temperance card. If you know, the temperance card is my favorite card in the tarot. And this one has a really great one. Here it is. I love the colors, I love the face, I love the etching. It looks like very subtle colored pencils. I mean, it probably isn't, but that's the feel. Or not pencils, but like watercolor. I love the sun. This is the one on the box. And the bags are these pastel pink with like a texture. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. Not my favorite bags, but they totally go with this deck. Adorable. Adorable. The next one is the biggest surprise. And this is the biggest surprise because I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I do. I am absolutely obsessed with this deck. It's one of my top 3 decks that I've bought this year. And I wasn't expecting to be as crazy about it as I absolutely am. And the reason why is because I am no longer buying RWS decks. I recently got 2 new RWS decks that I received from Kickstarter that I bought last year, but those are exceptions, and I'll talk about them whenever I do a video about decks from this year. But in general, I am no longer buying RWS. I no longer read with RWS. At least it's not my system of choice. I have made exceptions now and then when the reading requires it. But this one is an RWS based deck. And I bought it because I fell in love with it as soon as I saw it. It was love at first sight. But after I bought it, I kind of regretted it because I no longer buy RWS decks, and I thought it wouldn't have a place in my collection. As beautiful as it is, as much as I loved it at first sight, I thought I shouldn't have bought it. And when I received it, I had to eat my words because it's absolutely fabulous. And when I show it to you, I will tell you why, but I feel like it's going to absolutely be a workhorse deck. I have been using it so much this year, and that is the Emblemata Chromata by Urania Press. The reason why this is open is because I had already filmed the clip for this deck, and then I realized that I wasn't filming, which is fun when that happens. So I'm refilming it, but I had already taken it out. This deck is made by Renaissance Emblems, and so each card has the emblem and the name of the card and a little quote that I guess goes with the emblem. And it's funny because they, Urania Press, they already had the Emblemata deck. The original deck is a black cardstock and everything is printed just in gold foil, and I had already seen that one and it never caught my attention. I like zero interest in that one. I don't know, I don't want to say anything more about that one because I didn't like it, period. But when I saw this one, I was taken aback because it's so beautiful, and I hadn't even realized that it was the same deck. When I saw this on Etsy, I literally gasped and I said, oh my god, what is this? And then I realized that it's just a colored version of the same Emblemata deck that they already had. And the color makes all the difference. The vibes change completely, and these are my vibes. I mean, if you've seen the decks I've showed you, these are my vibes. And so this deck is just the emblems with the name and the quotes. And the reason why I say that it's going to be a workhorse deck is because, as I've told you throughout this video, this year, or rather last year, I fell in love with classic cartomancy and cartomatic systems. And you know, the way I read Marseille is by the images in the cards. I don't do meanings anymore. And the reason why I say this is an RWS deck is because the images are chosen based on the RWS meaning, even if it's not like a clone. So it's totally an RWS deck. But anyway, when I received this one, I was very much into my Lenormand study. And you know, Lenormand is like the image, and you read the images together. And when I received this deck and I laid it out, it suddenly clicked. It dawned on me that these are emblems. And so the way I've been reading this is literally like Lenormand. I don't pay attention to the name of the card, and I don't pay attention to the quotes. I don't think I've even read any of the quotes, to be honest. I just go by the emblem. And obviously, in the same way that I read Marseille or etc., I never do single card pulls. That's something I've never done ever since the beginning I have started studying tarot. And so, of course, I pull like 3 card, 5 card, 9 card, or whatever type of combination, and I read them based on the emblem interactions. And I love it so much, and there are so many cards. And I feel like this is going to be an absolute workhorse. And also, I don't know what cardstock this is printed on, but I love it so much. Listen to this. The sound it makes is so fabulous. I love it. Like today I could tell you this is my favorite that I bought last year. I hesitate to say so because all of them are amazing. But today, as of now, listening to the sound, the feel, the images, the way I'm reading with it, I feel like this is my favorite. Also, its uniqueness, you know. Yes. I mean, look at this guy and tell me he's not fabulous. It's so funny. Oh, and the backs. These are the backs. Whatever. Like, I don't hate them. I don't love them. Whatever. But these are the backs. And speaking of traditional cartomantic systems and divination, the next one I'm going to show you is my favorite new divinatory oracle. I want to make a video about all my oracle collection and like my quest to find divinatory oracles in my collection, because I never thought of oracles for divination, which is hilarious because the name oracle implies divination, right? But we never use that word for divination. And so I had never thought about them like that until I saw a video by Marine. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that, but I absolutely, like, now I only want to use oracles for divination. And there was one French deck that I have loved ever since I first saw it in a video. And I had never bought it because it has so few cards and I didn't think I would use it, and because it's very heavily made for divination, and I wasn't at the moment when I first saw it, even though I loved it, I wasn't focused on that. But once I started focusing on divination and divinatory oracles, I knew I had to get this one. And this is actually like a vintage version. There is now a new version that I think is mass market and comes with a big box and a big book. And you know how much I hate, despise decks that come in a big box with a big book. Not exactly a deal breaker, but if there is a deck I love and it comes in a big box and a big book, I will think about it before buying it. Like, I won't necessarily buy it because I hate it so much. And so I bought the version that was before, that didn't come with the big box and the big book. And it is the card Divinatoire d'Aguirre by Alcide Nathaniel. I think this is a mass market French deck. And you could totally buy it on Amazon. Just that it's going to come with a big box and a big book. It only has 32 cards, but you know, Lenormand has 36, and I do feel like divinatory decks work well with few cards. It is honestly amazing how much it talks. I have even done like 15 card spreads with this, and it's absolutely insane how well it reads. Like, I think this is one of my most used decks since I received it. I bought it at the like half of the year, so like I only used it throughout the fall because I didn't have it before. But I have used it so much for so many types of questions, for different things, and it's such a good reader. It's crazy. This is one of those where you absolutely feel like it's absolutely magic when you are reading. I love the illustrations. I love the black borders. I love the thin, long format. It's amazing. It's a fabulous, 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 fabulous deck. If you are into divination, I cannot recommend it enough. If I had had this one when I did my top 10 oracle videos, this would have been there. This is absolutely going to be one of my top oracles for life, period. And these are the backs, which are also absolutely stunning. Love this deck. Love this deck. Well, this is one of my favorite cards. I feel like every divinatory oracle has a letter card. This is one of my favorites. And finally, the another oracle. Finally, it is the most niche interest deck. That's the category I could come up for. I actually haven't used this one because this is totally going to be like a study deck, and I haven't started studying the thing that I want to study to use this deck. And that is this one, which is an Aztec based deck. The correct word is not Aztec but Mexica, but you know, Aztec is the word that everyone knows, so I'm just going to go with that one, even if it's not the correct term and they never call themselves Aztecs. Anyway, so this is the Amapatolitzli Tonalpowali, and the Tonalpowali is the divinatory calendar of the Aztecs. The Tonalpowali is the calendar that they used to like divine their fortunes when they were born. So depending on the date you were born under the Tonalpowali, it was like the fate that you were going to have, or like the type of person you were going to be, etc. And I really want to study the Tonalpowali. I haven't started studying it, but when I saw this deck, I thought, oh, I want to buy it because, I don't know, I thought it was fabulous. The only thing I don't like about this is the box, because it's one of those side talk boxes, and it's weird. I thought it was fabulous because this is not attempting to be like a system divina. It is actually a game, not an oracle. But you know, I bought it to read with it because, as one does. But I thought it was fabulous because I feel like this is not trying to fit the tonal powali into like a system or like a tarot or anything, and this is the only Aztec card set that I have ever seen that actually feels Aztec or Mexica. I'm sorry, I can't help myself, Mexica. I feel like all of the other ones that I've seen feel like they are stereotyping. I've been showing you the backs of the cards and I hadn't even realized it. So these are the fronts of the cards and these are the dates of the, like the tonal powali. So you have house, and then the color of the card is like the suit, and it's the mythology in Aztec mythology and in general Mesoamerican mythology. There are 4 routes of the universe, and so the 4 suits are the 4 routes of the universe, and the 4 routes are like north, south, east, west, right? And they each mean something. And oh yeah, but I was saying that most of the Aztec decks I've seen feel like they are more being stereotypical, even the ones that are like well researched, because I have seen some that are well researched. There is one called the, what's it called? The Yowali Ejecatl, and I like that one, but because it is RWS clone, it doesn't feel authentic, just because the RWS is, you know, British system that it feels opposed to the ideology of Mesoamerica. I don't know, I don't want to get into that. And then there is another one, there's an oracle with deities, and some of the deities are kind of made up, and that put me off. And then there is one that is kind of like a video game style, and that one is cool, but I mean, obviously, like, it is inspired by the art, but not super authentic, which is fine. I think that one is actually fine. I actually like that one because it's not trying to be authentic, it's just basing itself on the type of art and doing its own thing, which I like. But you know, personally, for myself, I wasn't interested in it because I do I am very interested in the topic, and I do read a lot about it from the historical perspective, and so I wasn't interested in that deck. But this one is the first that I've seen where it's just actually taking the tonal powali, making like a card set, dividing it. The suits make sense because it's the 4 routes of the universe that you already have in the mythology, and it's not trying to be something it's not. It's just straight up the tonal powali, and the creator does provide some instructions for a game, but then it also says like you can use them however you want to. She's not trying to impose anything and so it doesn't feel forced. I haven't used it because again, this is like a study deck, but I wanted to show it because again, most niche interest deck. So that is it. Those were my new deck highlights for 2024. I hope you enjoyed them. I'd love to hear from you in the comments which one you have, which ones you want to have, which ones you were interested in, or which were your highlights of 2024. Just, you know, whatever, I'd love to read you in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon with another a bookish video, and hopefully I will see you soon with another Tarot Tuesday video. I do want to make my rethinking oracle in search for divinatory oracles video, and then I also want to make a video for a tiny French art oracle that I have that I want to customize, and I want to make that one. And just, you know, reading videos, I would like to make reading videos. So I don't know how often I'll be posting Tarot Tuesday, but hopefully kind of often. But you know, for now, I will see you soon with another video, and in the meantime, I wish you happy reading, whether it's book reading, card reading, or whatever form of reading you love.